On the path of liberation, we must come to understand how the mind works. Not only how we construct the various thoughts in the mind, but how we relate to them. The Buddhist teachings highlight the influence that repeated thoughts can have on our minds. He said, "Whatever one frequently thinks and ponders upon, that will become the inclination of one's mind. If one frequently thinks and ponders upon thoughts of sensual desire, one has abandoned the thoughts of renunciation to cultivate thoughts of sensual desire, and then one's mind inclines to thoughts of sensual desire. If one frequently thinks and ponders upon thoughts of ill will or upon thoughts of cruelty, one has abandoned the thoughts of non-ill will and non-cruelty to cultivate thoughts of ill will and cruelty, and then one's mind inclines towards thoughts of cruelty." We all need the ability to think clearly, to reflect deeply, to use our minds well. Skillful thinking is vital to a wise and compassionate life. But too often habit patterns perpetuate the defilements and obstruct our capacity to use our minds clearly and perpetuate the habits of mind that thwart concentration. You probably have noticed that at one time or another, your thoughts might run rampant and cause great pain and suffering. You're also probably aware that there is something that you're doing to participate in the habits of your own mind. How does your mind incline? Are you doing anything that is perpetuating an unwholesome inclination of mind? And is there something you might like to do to strengthen a wonderful or wholesome inclination of mind? The great 20th century forest master, Ajahn Buddhadasa, was once asked, "What is the state of the world today?" And he answered, "Lost in thought." That was several decades ago, and I think it has only gotten worse. People spend an enormous portion of their lives lost in fantasy or reactivity, ruminating on this or that, dwelling in stories of what might happen or what happened in the past and who they are, rather than meeting the unfolding of present experiences with mindfulness and clarity. We can look at our mental patterns and consider if they're leading in the direction that we want to go or not. Repetitive patterns become strong because they repeat. We get good at the things that we practice. What are we practicing in the use of our mind? Are we creating the very ruts in the mind, the very grooves that perpetuate sorrow, distress, restlessness, agitation, anxiety, fear, dread? When we frequently repeat a pattern, we're strengthening those neural pathways. And then that type of thought or reaction occurs more easily, more quickly, with even lighter triggers in the future. Habits are like the channels in the mind, where the energies, the thoughts, and the actions tend to flow in the direction of the channel. They tend to produce the direction that our lives go in. Is the groove that your thoughts are creating, is that the direction you want to go in? So we look to see, how are we participating in the conditioning of our own minds? What patterns are we practicing? What habit grooves are we carving?